Two creators, husband and wife, over 10 million followers between the two of them over multiple social media platforms. And by the way, they have 3 kids and virtually no team. Want to know how they get it all done? Watch this interview coming up. Y'all, today I have in the house Lavishly Britt and Bullyjuice. Brittany and Daryl, welcome to the show. I am so excited to get into you guys' journey about content creation. But first, for my audience and those that don't know you, let us know a little bit about yourselves and how you got into content creation.
Okay, so I'm Brittany, Lavishly Britt, and I was the first one to start creating content. I honestly started on YouTube, and when I started on YouTube, I didn't really know how to edit. I remember spending hours in front of a light, which isn't even like the correct setup. It was like take the lampshade off of a regular light and trying to put my makeup on, and it was sweating off of my face before I could finish and just being frustrated, spending hours up there. And then he would come up there and like laugh at me and be like, "You're still up here recording." And because at that time I was just like learning, and I was like, I'm gonna just take them along the journey of me like figuring out how to do my makeup. Because around that time, that was like what, 2013. That's what YouTube was about. It was very big in the beauty makeup
Mhm.
era, and I was just like, okay, I'm learning with the rest of the girls. And long story short, I wasn't that good at makeup. I can do a basic beat base today, but back then, no. My neck and face were all different shades, and he had a nice time laughing at me. So that was kind of how my journey started. And then, shortly after, I got pregnant, decided to chop all my hair off and go on my natural hair journey, and I created content around that. And I rode that lane for a very long time until, the pandemic hit, and I feel like the world kind of stopped and we were all like, oh, what are we doing? Like, how many times can I teach you really to wash your hair and do a wash and go? So I kind of just stopped and pivoted and went and focused more on Instagram. And that's kind of like where I spend a lot of my time at currently. I really enjoy creating short form content. Coming from YouTube to a platform where it was short form, I found that it was a little difficult to like make the video shorter because you're so used to like having a plethora of time to explain a story, and now you got to do it in like 7 seconds because nobody's going to pay attention longer than that. Um, so that's kind of how the journey for me started, and then I obviously kind of brought him along, and now he has more than excelled.
Okay, so whose idea was it for Daryl to get involved? Was it his or was it yours?
It was mine.
Okay. You owe it all to her.
I know, right?
You're welcome.
So yeah, my story's a little bit different. I used to come up there and help her with her videos. I actually was into videography and editing and recording videos and things like that. I just had no place to put the video. So it was just a hobby of mine. I was always one day looking at being some type of director because I just like creating videos. And I think I had a few on like Facebook and stuff like that.
Okay.
But she started explaining the whole YouTube thing that I was not really familiar with. And one day, after I talked her off of the ledge because she'd be so frustrated with her own content creation, she's like, "You know what? You're real motivated. You should make videos." And at first, I was reluctant, like, "Nah, it's kind of weird talking to the camera. It's kind of awkward." But I gave it a go, and before long, I was like, once I started getting comments and things like that, I started realizing I'm not just talking to the camera, I'm actually talking to people on the
Mhm.
other side of the screen.
Mhm.
So they're actually resonating with the message. And once I started realizing that I was helping people, then that made things a whole lot easier. So originally I was in the military, so I would do a lot of military content. And then one of my biggest passions was fitness. I've always been active, always been into sports. So I started to create content around that. And contrary to her kind of taking a second to look around at what's going on during the pandemic, that's when I started to excel even more during the pandemic because I was making workout videos and things like that for people to indulge and enjoy when they're at home on lockdown. So um, the pandemic was a way for me to kind of get out in the, at a park or something, and it was therapeutic for me to create the videos. And then when I was putting them out there to other people, they found it equally as therapeutic and motivational, and they was getting into, shape and lowering their A1C and all type of things. So once I realized I was helping a lot of people, that made it a whole lot easier to keep going. So now we're here.
Yep. Now we have um, a family YouTube channel that we recently started um, that just really kind of, I guess, allows us an outlet to document what our daily lives are like. Because a lot of people, especially if you're coming from like Instagram and TikTok or YouTube Shorts where you don't hear us talk, you're kind of like, well, what are they like? What's their life like behind the scenes? So, to kind of answer that question for many people, we just decided to start a family channel so you kind of get to see the ins and outs. We kind of went through a phase of like doing daily vlogs to weekly vlogs, and now we're kind of like shifting gears on that and like making them a little more focused and adding a little more.
That happens to me all the time.
Yeah, I don't wear these because I don't like them. And adding a little more value into our content for our audience to just see, like, for example, like we're big on what we feed our kids and, not just giving them the everyday snacks that you can easily access in the grocery store. Then we actually take the time to read the ingredients and know the ingredients that are going into our kids' bodies.
That's really important. And I know I love that you said, you want to give your audience they come to know you, Daryl for fitness, Brittany for makeup, for hair, for those types of things, maybe even motherhood. But now they want more. And I talk to a lot of creators. In fact, I've been doing a whole week of channel reviews. And so the people who are brand new to platforms, especially platforms like YouTube, they may see you and Daryl doing family vlogs and they think, oh, that's how I'm going to make my way on YouTube. I'm going to do family vlogs. And, not to say that it can't happen. It's just a much slower process. And I try to explain to them, every single person. I say, who do you like? They may say Daryl and Brittany. They may say Aaliyah's face. They may say this person. I said, do you realize they built their audience doing something else? And
Right.
then their audience wanted to see behind the scenes of what they're doing. But there are people watching you. I'm going to tell you right now. And they're like, I got some kids. I got a husband. We can do that. Why is
Yeah.
nobody watching my videos? They don't know you. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, we took the kids to the park. Who are you, ma'am? So I'm
Yeah.
Yeah,
glad
for
that
sure.
you just explained that trajectory. Yes, it is a natural progression. Raven Elise started out doing DIY and then makeup, and then got into the vlogging my life. And then once you have that audience who can give you some momentum, yes, you're going to attract new people, but you need that initial audience to kind of get that momentum going. Um, I knew this was going to happen. You're going to get put out. Get
Yeah,
away.
I always try to explain to people because I have friends that do the same thing sometimes. They're like, yeah, I want to vlog. And I always explain to people, you got to find some way to add value first off, to validate yourself somewhere. So if you're adding value, you'll be validated in that space if you're doing the right job. Somebody be like, hey, I tried, Daryl's workout and it worked for me. I got these results. Now I'm validated in that space. I know what I'm doing. People trust what's going on when they come to me for fitness. Same with Brittany. Hey, I tried your wash and go, or I tried your makeup routine. You helped me overcome this with my child. So now people come to her and say, hey, I trust you. You added value to somebody's life that you may not, it may be small to us creating a 15-minute video, but it may have made a major impact in somebody's life. So of course they'll be willing to say, hey, I want to know what they're doing behind the scenes. I want to know more. And they're willing to go ahead and, you know, watch whatever it is. You know, some people say, I'll watch you grow grass. You know, I'll
Yeah.
watch you eat cereal, because you've added that type of value to their lives. So you got to find some way to be valuable, to be different, to make an impact.
I could not have said it better. And this is the exact reason I'm doing these podcasts versus sitting down in front of a camera and try to preach the same
Hmm,
concepts to people, because I feel like if they hear it from you guys, do the people who are doing it, the people you're looking up to, the people who are on the come up or who have already made it, maybe it'll make sense. But I could
yeah,
not have said that better. And um, it's it may not have been something that the either one of you knew from day one, but it's something that you learned by creating on on this platform, on the different platforms, right?
for
It's
sure.
something you had
Yeah.
to discover.
It was things that I would say was done. You know, I always say the Lord works in mysterious ways. So it may have been a reason I just started doing something. And I remember one point in time, my wife was reading a book, Super Fans, and she was like reading off things. And I was like, maybe that's why when I did this, that happened.
Hmm.
Maybe that's why when I did this, this was working, because it seems like we were already checking the boxes from the book that somebody was explaining to, hey, here's how you create an audience, here's how you brand yourself. We were already kind of doing those things. It just put some type of term and
Yeah.
reasoning behind
Hmm.
why it worked.
Yeah, explain why it worked.
Yeah, it
Because originally
validated.
we were doing what we felt was right to do without knowing for sure in real time, like, is this right? And then as I was reading the book and I was telling him like, well, this is why your audience is like this, because you've given them this type of value.
Hmm.
Um, and in the long run, it pays off for you way more.
For sure.
Yes. I don't know if I've read that book. I'm gonna have to check it out and also recommend it, because that's what people want to know. They want to know, how can I build an audience?
Hmm.
I think someone has described it as, I want a ride or die audience, and to use your term, that'll watch me,
Grow
make grass
grass.
grow or whatever.
Yeah.
Uh, and that's how, by creating valuable content, they get to know you, they get to like you. It's a common uh, business term. People do business with people they know, like, and trust. Same
Hmm.
thing on social media. They've got to know you, they got to like you, and they got to trust you. That you are
For
going to
sure.
give them what that they came to look for. And
Hmm.
so, both of you have specific niches for why there's nothing wrong with pivoting. You have to keep up
Yeah.
with your audience, to keep up with your own personal um, preferences, but you give the people what they came for every video.
Hmm.
Daryl, when you do your workout videos, uh, Brittany, when you were doing your hair videos, or when the type of content that you're creating on Instagram, it's like, this is what they came for.
Hmm.
Now, that develops the trust. That's the trust. Hey, I know when I go to their channel, this is what I'm going to see. This is the quality I'm
Hmm.
going to get. I know that it's not going to be months and months before they upload another video.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that they're going to be regular. I know that this is going to be content that's for me. And that's so important. And there are a lot of creators that I work with who one day they want to give the audience this, the next day they want to give them that, the next day they're going to give them this. I think I was doing a live stream today, and the lady said her channel was about, and I may be getting this all mixed up, but she said it was beauty, fashion, nursing degree, travel. And I'm like, girl, pick a lane.
Yeah.
Because, it's like you have made 100 videos and you only have 66 subscribers. That's because
Mm.
every time they come back,
It's
they
something else.
it's something different. And they might not be here for you. And even when you have created an audience, say like Raven Elise, and they know you, and they would your core audience will watch you make grass grow.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's difficult for her to maintain that viewership across all the different things that she wants to do. Oh, I like
Right.
to see you talk about. I like it when your daughter's in the videos. Well, I like it when you plan parties. Well, I like it when you're with your friends. So that can even be difficult for creators who have grown an audience who are truly engaged. But
Yeah.
so much I want to talk to you about, especially like the business side of things. I love that you guys are building this whole empire with not only the content, but the clothing and the workouts. It's like everything just is lining up. And so that idea, those types of ideas start to occur to you when you saw that, you could create an income from your audience other than the basics of what people normally think about. And I talk to creators every day. I ask, well, how are you going to monetize? They
Mm-hmm.
say, YouTube
YouTube
ads, and
assets.
it's like, hey, get that together. Start thinking about. You don't have to have it all figured out like right now, but start thinking about it sooner than later. So when did it kind of occur to you that we could just build a whole business empire out of this?
Hmm. Well, I would say it kind of came in multiple steps.
Yeah.
So we obviously knew that like with creating YouTube content, you can create money off of it, but it was kind of like at that time we didn't know necessarily how much because that's just something that you can't easily Google search and
Mhm.
find
Yeah.
out like how much someone's making because then it goes into all the
Yeah,
CPMs and the
yeah.
type of ads and how many
Mhm.
ads and how often they're posting.
Originally,
Um,
it was like a hobby,
yeah,
I would
it
say.
definitely started off as a hobby. Then it was kind of
Mhm.
like, okay, now it's full side hustle, and
It
then
was
it kind
like
of
the
grew into
passion,
like,
you know.
okay, this is now our career. This is our job. This is what how we provide for our family.
Mhm.
So we kind of went into it in steps, and as far as it just went to content creation, and it's like, okay, I have a entrepreneurship degree, so I'm
Mm-hmm.
always kind of like, well, how do we make this into more? Because I knew off rip that I didn't want to rely solely on YouTube
Yeah.
or sponsorships, especially once you get into sponsorships in the beginning, and even right now with the economy, it can be a little shaky.
Mhm.
So I was kind of like, I don't want to put all our eggs in that basket, and it's just like understanding with this. I view content creation and being an influencer kind of in the realm of what you would view like athletes and celebrities. You have a time.
Right.
There's
Yeah.
people. I think it's so new that people don't realize that there's really a time frame on this. Like, do you really want to be, for example, Daryl jumping in the pool with weights on your back at 65?
Yeah.
No.
Can't do that.
I wouldn't recommend that. So,
Yeah.
um, with that, it was kind of like we always kept in our mind like building for the future.
Yeah.
Like it's yes, what we do is fun in the meantime, but it's like, okay, how do we secure a future for our family 10, 15, 20 years from now? So that's kind of been our goal. So when we seen how well working out was doing and understanding that in that realm, it's a lifestyle type of
Mhm.
thing. And understanding the longevity in that. Like, there's always going to be someone working out that needs to eat healthier and things
Mm-hmm.
like that. Just training your brain to think in that way and not so much in the instant gratification that social media has kind of driven a lot of people's brains to processing and thinking that way. I think honestly the Gym O'Clock brand was something we kind of like slowly brainstormed over what I think we
Man,
first started playing with the
when
idea
I was
when you were
deployed,
deployed. So
yeah,
that's what, like 2017.
17. Yeah.
So we toyed with the idea for a very long time, and I think we kind of developed the company like as far as LLCs and all of that.
Mhm.
Come what 2020.
2020. Yeah.
So we took 3 years of really just honestly
Brainstorming.
brainstorming, using our own capital. So we're not being flashy with money. It's
Mhm.
just like saving that money. So the money that we're making, we're investing back into
Mm-hmm.
our family and ourselves. And that's kind of how Jim McClock launched on his own without having investors or anything of that nature to back it. Um, and that was like a major part of our plan. Like we were kind
Yeah.
of very gun ho on the we don't want to owe
Businesses,
anybody
yeah.
money on the business front of things. So, I mean, do you have anything to add to that?
No, I mean, we kind of learn from the best, the people that are still relevant, like, the 50 Cents or the Jay-Z's. They not rapping anymore. They created businesses. They went off to film movies, or, some people that were uh, working out, or they were sports fanatics, or whatever the case may be. They have podcasts now. So it's just more so was one showing that my motive was always I'm more than just muscle, right?
Mhm.
So at one point, your test levels are going to drop. You're not going to be as big and strong and shredded. So what I could use my brain, right? I'm more than just muscle. So the thing is, we wanted to always be thinking ahead and not waiting for things to happen, and then you go, uh-oh, what do I do now? So it just was planning ahead. Like she said, she was very business oriented. She, went to school for business, concentration on entrepreneurship. So, we just kind of was always trying to think ahead of how we can capitalize off of what we're doing and not just rely on YouTube or Instagram, because if those things were taken away, then what? When
Mhm.
we're raising a family and we got, little ones depending on us and things like that, I can't knock on YouTube door and say, hey, like, what's going on? Where's my check?
Right.
So, and the same with the sponsorships, it could take 45 days, 60 days for you to even get a check cut. So
Mhm.
can't rely on that either. You
Mhm.
know, we always say those things are kind of bonuses, but
I
yeah.
love that. I love that, the entrepreneurial side of things. And like I said, I think all creators should start thinking about that aspect of it sooner than later, whatever that looks like.
Hmm.
It doesn't have to be a clothing line or a product. It could be, it could be a number of things. But to
Yeah.
think about, you've got this audience. Here's the deal about the sponsorships. Sponsorships are great. For a while, they were paying really good.
Hmm.
And I still think that the sponsors, the brands were getting a deal. Because just think if they had to hire the film crew
Right.
and the
Right.
makeup and the hair and the lights and the camera and the audio, and then pay the actor, even if it
Hmm.
wasn't a well known actor. So sponsors for a while got a great deal and are still getting a great deal working with influencers. But here's the deal. If the sponsor, thinking about what they were paying a couple of years ago, if a sponsor is willing to pay five figures for
Yeah.
you to do a 3-minute spot because they're wanting to market to your audience,
Yeah.
well, then why don't you just market to your own audience, you know,
Right.
and cut out the middleman
Right.
and jump through your own hoops versus jumping through their hoops?
Because they trust you for a reason.
Yeah,
So that's why they come to you, because the audience trusts and that's one thing we always try to keep it organic and authentic. So if I don't rock with something or I don't mess with it, I'm not doing a sponsorship on it, because my audience trusts me. And once you lose that trust in your audience, then what? That, like they say, it's hard to get it back.
it's
So,
hard to get it back. But your audience trusts you. You've built this audience. They're an engaged audience. They like you. They like what you do. Why not find something else of value
mhm,
that you can offer to them? It's an offer.
100%.
You want it, you don't want it. I had this conversation with another uh, content creator who also runs a business just yesterday, and they were saying they're up. They're like 700,000 on TikTok, 500,000, 600,000 on Instagram. I hadn't really fooled much with YouTube, but they're like, yeah, I need to get my I need to get my Instagram. I need to get my views, and they're getting great engagement. I need to get
Hmm.
my followers up. I was like, no, you don't. You need to market to the followers that you have. You have
Right.
this one product that you're barely, I said, that's what you need to be. You got products that they're interested in. Very, very concentrated niche. So what else can you offer them? Okay, you got this product and it's $49. And maybe you have this product and it's $1,000. And oh, if you really want to work with me on this level, it's $5,000. You've got the audience. You just need to get your workflow in place, your funnels in place to make sure that they know what your offers are and they know how you can be of value to them. And who who makes the best customers? People have already bought from you. So
Yeah.
then, find
Repeat
something
customers.
else to offer them of value. So and this is a business person. This is not a 20 something who's new to social media. It's just that sometimes people get caught up in the social media fame
Yeah.
slash fortune, and it becomes a little bit addictive, like more, 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 more.
Hmm.
And they stop thinking with their business head and start keep thinking with the popularity.
Right.
Yeah.
We always act. We double check with each other. Do you want to be paid or do you want to be popular?
Hey.
So that's
Oh, I
something
got
that.
so many good. Let me get my notebook together. I got so many. Do you want to be paid? Do you want
Or
to
do
be
you want to be
popular? More
popular?
than
So
muscle? I'm taking notes.
yeah, so that we kind of keep our checks. We have checks and balances to keep each other kind of like on the right plan because we human, we can get caught up in that as well. Like, hey, let's do this, and then we'll stop and be like, wait, like, why are we trying to be paid or are we trying to be popular? Because being popular don't always get you paid. You can be, especially with Instagram and a lot of these things, there's a lot of one-hit wonders. They're here today, they're irrelevant tomorrow. So the plan is always to make sure you have longevity and to make sure you're planning for the future. So no, I definitely resonate with what you're saying. It ain't all about being popular. It's about being paid at the end of the day. So,
That's
and
right. I mean, you're spending. This is a lot of
adding
work,
value.
right? This is a lot
Right.
of work. So you deserve to be paid for it. It's not like,
Hmm.
we're just all about the money, but no, I'm just like a job that I would put my energy in. My business,
Right.
my internet business, that's something I am working on day and night. And so why wouldn't I get paid for it? As most entrepreneurs
Hmm.
do.
And I mean, we've had other jobs, and I'll say we've worked way harder with social media and entrepreneurship than any other jobs. And it's a little bit more rewarding because you're working for you and you're not necessarily getting up and going to, a 9 to 5 or something like that you might not really want to be there for. But I would say, it's early mornings, it's late nights, and that's what kind of started in the beginning. We were doing that. I mean, like I said, I was in the military, waking up early, doing videos and going to PT, going to work, and then coming home, helping her. We still don't, we're our own house here is how we kind of do our productions. We don't have cameramans. My brother is my assistant,
Mhm.
and then I help her with videos. She helped me. We kind of help each other. So we work. Yeah. So
So that brings another thought to mind. So you're a married couple, you got kids, you're living together and working together
mhm.
every single day. 7 days a week, probably. What,
Yeah.
how do you manage that, or how do you create? I use the word balance, and every single creator I've talked to has said that's it's not really balance. It's something else, but it's not
Mhm.
really because a balance indicates like it's even like this. So
Mhm.
how do you manage that, and how do you not end up pulling each other's hair out
Yeah,
Because
divide and conquer.
Yeah, so divide and conquer. We communicate what we have going on. Like,
Yeah,
for example, this week I had two sponsorships to do, but our daughter is also running track, so we've been
yeah,
gone a lot, and we just got back from a family vacation. So it's like we got back on what Monday. I
hmm,
had two sponsorships due before Thursday. So that didn't leave us much time to create the content, edit the content, turn it in. So obviously we have three kids. One needs practice, another just needs attention. One's a baby, so he definitely can't
yeah,
do anything for himself. And it's just like, all right, all hands on deck. Like we have to get this done. So we just overly communicate. Like I need help, or if I'm overly tired with sleep training, it's like, look, I know you need to get this done, but can you help me here? It's really just we're very big on communication. We have a family calendar that
yeah.
we work off of. If something has to get done, it needs to be on that calendar. Today's meeting was on the calendar. Otherwise, someone would have forgot. So it's we definitely work off communication and just being open and honest with each other. Like, well, I need help with this. And
yeah,
then, even when it comes to him getting things done, like he'll communicate, well, I need you to kind of step up more in this. It's definitely not a balance. It's not a 50-50
no.
household. It's like if I have 90 to give that day and all he has is 10, we work with what we got, and we figure out a way to get it done.
So it's
Yeah.
teamwork, huh?
Teamwork.
And we have we used to when we was on it. Things have changed a lot recently because it get a little janky when you have a new baby. They don't want to sleep. They want to do the, so if we getting 2 hours of sleep at night, we might not be doing much the next day. But we used to kind of have like recording days and hey, let me know what you want to record, or I might have to bug her if she's just in one of those funks like, I need you to give me two videos that you want to record, and then I'll have a couple so that'll be our recording day. We'll knock some stuff out, and whether you like it or not, we just got to get it done. So I deal with the attitude because I know you're gonna be frustrated if you're not creating content. So I'm just like, hey, just come up with two ideas and let's get to it. Or we'll send each other ideas all the time. Like, what you think about this? Or I would say we honestly a team
Yeah.
Yeah.
when it comes down to it. We're a team. It's a weird kind of like separate but equal type of thing because it's like we both have separate platforms, but we also are featured in each other videos
Mhm.
often. And then we finally have a family channel that we created last year that we share. So we're from what we've noticed, we were one of the few that kind of started out separately.
Mhm.
People view us as like a family online, but we started with totally separate niches at the time, with the military and the fitness and the hair and the fashion and the makeup and stuff. It was like totally different, and we slowly kind of merged together in
Mhm.
a way because we help each other all the time. So definitely the communication with the calendar and just overly communicating and just helping each other really. We
Yeah.
definitely a team when it comes to that.
Yeah, we've worked on finding ways to also unplug. He's a little better at it than I am
Yeah.
at times, especially like when we kind of get in that grind mode. It's like it'll be 11 p.m. and I'll be in my office doing something. He's like, you need to you need to shut it off. Um,
Yeah.
so
I got that time where I'm like, it'll get done tomorrow,
Yeah.
because when you work from home and when you know, record videos and all that. One, I don't do much scrolling on social media
Mhm.
because I work on social media. So I'm not on it. Like I explained to her quite often, you'll get wrapped up in being a consumer,
Mhm.
but we're really supposed to be the suppliers
Mhm.
of social media. So if you consume and supply, then you're on it all day. Your screen time, you're just scrolling,
Mhm.
and it'll make you go crazy. Like it desensitize you to
Mhm.
actually like, oh, okay, putting in the work and being creative. You gotta unplug sometimes. You gotta get off the phone. If you're not working, get off the phone,
Go do
and
something else.
go do something else. So, I'll intentionally just unplug, and I have that time during the day where I'm like, this is it. I'm not doing nothing else related to work because I'm home, and I understand that the lines can be blurred because your office, you walk by your office, oh, let me get this done. And then it's kind of like you're constantly consumed in it. So I just have that hard line I draw in the sand where I say, hey, at this time, I'm done, and I'm not it. I'll do it tomorrow. So now, when we were grinding, that was a different story. When we were kind of putting it all together and trying to grow the following and build the brand,
Mhm.
then like that's what I mentioned earlier. We were up early, we were going to sleep late, but sometimes that's what it takes. You
Yes, the
know,
seasons. The
Yeah.
seasons that
right?
you're in. You can be in a season of growth and hit it hard, 6, 9 months, a year,
hmm
and then kind of take a step back and, you know, do a
Recoup.
little bit less.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think right now I'm in that phase of like, coming out of having a new baby and
hmm
Hmm.
finding our new normal as far as just keeping up with everybody's schedule, kids being in different phases of their life, and making sure everybody gets their attention. Because with me being a mom, it's like I want to make sure I'm still present for them. I don't want them to feel like they come second to work.
Yeah.
We include them in a lot of our content, especially me. My content now is very much centered around my lifestyle. So it's not like I'm creating content. It's like, this is legit what I was doing today. I
hmm
had to grocery shop, so this is what you're going to get if I decide to
Hmm.
record it.
Hmm.
I decided to do my daughter's hair. This is what you're going to get today. And I think for me, that makes it a lot less taxing
Yeah.
than like trying to create content. Like I'm molding myself into something I'm not, because generally my content is what I'm doing. If you see me doing the ice bath, I legit did the ice bath.
It wasn't just for the camera.
No.
Was not just for the camera.
And that's how I try to explain to people, especially the more I would say creative IQ that we grew into. I try to find ways to incorporate what I'm already doing into content.
Hmm.
Whether it is I have to take my daughter to track practice, or I have to work out, or I have to do this. I'm finding ways to make a video out of what I'm already doing. But, of course, you might have those people like you talked about with seasons. It might not start out that way. So when it started out, people complain. Like I hear a lot of people that get into, well, I don't want to create videos about this anymore, and I don't want to do that. And I explained to them that's no different than going to the job that you didn't want to go to. Like this is work. So if you working, you might have to create some videos you don't want to do to get to create videos you want to do. It's just a progression that you get to. It's just, kind of putting in that work and paying it forward. So
I just want to give a big amen to that. I've said that so many times. I was like, well, how can you teach me how to grow my channel doing this type of content that the kind of content that I just feel like doing? I I can't, because it's
Yeah.
really not about you, it's about your audience. What does your audience want to see?
What do they want from you? Yeah.
And so, yeah, sometimes it may not be as fun as you thought was going to be, but the people want more. And as creatives, sometimes that's a little hard. I'm thinking about like your career in the military and how it shaped the discipline that you have to
Oh, yeah.
go through these seasons of grinding and go through the the
Yeah.
repetition and the tasks that you need to tick off to get this content out. How did that
Yeah.
affect?
But yeah, when I was in the military, I would say waking up early, doing all those things. My dad asked me a question, I would say probably about a year ago, and he was like, "Have I like have I shaken the military? Like basically you've been in and then you kind of trapped into." My wife told me my sense of humor was different. Like, I didn't have a sense of humor and stuff like that. I didn't laugh or smile that often, and I told him that. I still utilize a lot of the things that I had in the military. I just use them in a different way. Another model that I have is there's no tool too tiny. So when I was in the military, all that discipline, everything that I learned, wherever I go, I'm always gathering tools and I'll utilize them in whatever I'm doing. So even now, I wake up early before the sun. I get in my office. I'll do what I got to do. And, I work out. And a lot of times before 2, 3 o'clock, that's it for me. I'm done. My day is done. I'm not doing anything else. I can spend time with the kids. I can do whatever I want. So it's still a grind. It still takes a whole lot more discipline to wake up at the crack of dawn when nobody's there to tell you to wake up. That's a totally different type of discipline that I may not have had if it wasn't for the military.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes I definitely would say with the military, I definitely gained that just do it. It doesn't matter how you feel at the moment, especially knowing the plan, knowing where it's going to end up at, just
Mm-hmm.
do it. You got to do the things you don't want to do to get to where you want to be. So,
Absolutely. And I think that whole thing about good part about being self-employed is nobody tells you what to do. The bad part
right.
about being employed, nobody tells you what
I
to
tell you
do.
what to do. Yeah.
It's on you. It's like what you want to do. And that's another thing I was thinking when you were talking about building your business empire and having products and having the entrepreneurial thing going on is that nothing wrong with having a
hmm
job. But the thing that always occurs to me about a job is that there is typically a
It's
ceiling,
a cap. Yeah, it's a
a cap
cap.
on
Yeah.
it, no matter what, even if you have a high paying job, I don't
Right.
know, doctors, lawyers, software engineers, even if
hmm
a high paying job has a cap, but there is absolutely no limit to what you can earn and how you can
Right.
grow a business. It's just all depending on you. And
Right.
so that and not to say that you have to aspire to make multiple millions and billions, but
hmm
you're free to earn what it is you want to earn and what you feel like you need to earn to sustain your lifestyle
Right.
without waiting for that. Remember, January would come around and they would have those
Raises and
yeah, they had
bonuses.
to do your review, and you're like,
Yep.
oh, I got to get that 6%. I want that whole 6%. And then it's
Yeah.
like, well, this year the company's not doing that well, so the top percentage we're giving is 4. You did pretty good, so we're going to give you 3. And I'm just like, oh my God, seriously.
Yeah, no, it's a big difference. Like when I was in the military and things like that. Beforehand, we used to be the manager at Barnes and Nobles. It's like 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, and then it was like that's it. And that's another thing I try to explain to people. They make it seem like since they have jobs, they can't create content. But
Uh,
hey, you can create content, you know, at when you get home from work. I The reason I say it's a hobby, I used to play video games when I was in the military. I
mm,
stopped playing video games and I replaced it with creating YouTube videos. So
mhm.
I literally just, the time I would have been doing something else, I was working on YouTube. And that turned into a passion and turned into, where we are today. But you just got to grind. You got to do, when you have time, create those videos. You work hard on what you want because you're working hard at work. So you can come home and work for yourself as well, if that's what you
If that's
aspire to
what you
create.
want, if that's what you want. And I always
Yeah,
tell people, if you don't, this not for you, I'm telling you how much work it is, and I'm telling you what you're going to have to do. And if you determine it's not for you, no worries. Stop playing. Go do something. Put your efforts somewhere else. Start
right,
a different kind of business. Go get a advanced degree. Go find a better job. You don't have to do this to be
right,
somebody. But if it's
right,
on your heart to do it and you have it as one of your goals, then you're going to have to grind.
for
And,
sure.
that today I'm thinking back on, maybe 2016, 17.
Mm-hmm.
Raven did not have a team. She didn't have an editor. She didn't have no personal assistant. She barely had me. And at the time, I had a full-time job to help watch the baby while she created content. But when she was in
Mm-hmm.
her era of grinding, as you call it, when she's like, okay, I want to reach 1 million subscribers, I said, you got to create more. So she went from creating a video, whatever, I don't know, maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks, to
Mm-hmm.
3 videos a week, editing them herself,
Yes.
no help, with a baby.
Mm.
So don't tell me it can't be done.
Right.
You know, if you want it bad enough. Now
Right.
that was a season that lasted about 9 months, but that was all it took to
Yeah.
get where she's going. But and saying all that and thinking about Raven being a mom and Brittany being a mom, what do you do? And I'm sure this applies to you too, Daryl, but especially for the moms, like what do you do to for self-care and to make sure that you have time for Brittany, not just Brittany the influencer, Brittany the wife, and Brittany the mother?
Um, well, I'll communicate with Daryl first and foremost, like where I'm at with that. Like, I'm feeling burnt out, I'm tired, I'm exhausted. I personally am someone that loves sleep. Get me a nap.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to lay down and sleep. I'm not someone that wants to, for self care, to like go out and get my nails done. Like, those are things that I do. But when I'm at that point, I just want to sleep. Like, he'll tell you we're going on vacation. I'm like, can I get one day to just chill? I don't want to go do any excursions, like record any content. I just want to lay down and eat. That's it. Lay down, eat, shower, repeat all day.
A simple woman.
Simple. I'm really simple. Like I'm an introvert and I like my space. Keep the kids away from me for a few hours, please. Let me relax. So
Yeah.
that's my self care.
You
Oh, Daryl,
missing
do
date
you have
nights.
anything too?
Well, yes, date nights, but that's
Oh, date night.
a us thing.
Okay.
I consider that like a us, like
Yeah.
us to get that moment to reconnect and like not have kids
Mm-hmm.
jumping on one of us or somebody asking for who knows what, and just to get out the house because we do work from home. So it's like we're always here, whether
Mm-hmm.
we're here just as a family, relaxing or working. So I do enjoy our date nights. Like I look forward to those.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I would say I'm not. I don't need that as much. You know, it might have been a military thing, but I don't need to unplug as much. But I am, cognizant when that needs to happen. And I used to work out to kind of unplug and get out there, but once workout became like a
I
job,
know.
I needed something else. It's like I have to get out there and work out because staying in shape is a part of what I do now. It's no longer, I was trying to explain to her, that's no longer my free time and my, have fun time. It's a job now when I'm out there. So I went back to like occasionally I may play a video game with my brother or something like that, or just go somewhere, go do something chill. That's how I kind of unplug.
Get out the monster truck and go run a random errand. That's
Yeah,
his self care. I'm like, where are you going?
come back with
I'm going to
nothing.
the store. Yeah.
Come back with nothing.
Yes,
Just
I feel
just
you.
window
I
shopping.
do that
So
too. It's like I'm in this house working and
gotta
my
get out.
husband is working in the house. It's like I just need to get into a different atmosphere. Target. Target works wonders for that. But I don't want to go too far because I want to come back to the creative part of things. And I want to talk about like how you guys stay motivated and stay creative
Hmm.
and come up with all the ideas. But that got me thinking about your shorts that have
Hmm.
gone crazy viral, and they are so. Oh my gosh! You're like, How did they even film that? How did he even? First of all, how did he even do it in the first place? And secondly, how
Yeah.
did he capture it so perfectly on film? And
Hmm.
how do the concepts that you've come up with just go viral time after time after time after time? What's the secret? Let us in on it.
So I would say it's not necessarily a secret. I think that it's just a normal formula that I think everybody kind of uses in a way where in the beginning you hooking somebody. I always tell people I kind of like try to reverse engineer the algorithm or whatever they asking for. So you can analyze somebody else's video. If I'm on social media scrolling and I see a video and it did go viral, my question is why? What made this video go viral? So we might go through and be like, oh, it had to be the comments, or it had to be this, or it had to be that. So a lot of time the idea for me running and pulling a tablecloth actually came from I saw a video that went viral when somebody had a car then they had a rope hooked to the car and they drove, I think it was a Lamborghini or something. They drove it and they pulled the taper off, right? And then, of course, I whenever I see something, I automatically think, in what way can that apply to my niche and what I do? So I said, perfect. What if I could run and pull the tablecloth? So we kind of brainstormed for a second and then she'll tell you I don't sit on something too long. Once I got the idea, hey y'all ready? Y'all ready? Y'all do this? I'm gonna go buy the rope and buy every, and we go see if we can do this. So
We had plenty of moments where we were on the couch. We told the idea. He's like, all right, y'all, get
let's
in the car.
go. We got time. Let's get in the car. Let's go. I'm knocking it out. So, you know, I look for small things. So with the shorts, I look for mainly all the shorts was actually reels. They were kind of regurgitated for
Mhm,
shorts. But sometimes you edit the shorts a little bit different. But
mhm,
we look for a hook in the beginning. What's going to grab somebody's attention? Because as you scrolling, what's going to make them stop on yours? What's going to make them stop on your video? And at least for a couple seconds to reel them in. So
yes.
we look for that hook, and then we look for how do we keep them watching for a certain amount of time until the end of the video. And then what, in the end, is always the end, what's going to make them like it? Some people's going to like the video because it's your video, but what's going to make that person that watched it like the video? It might be, a kiss at the end. It might be, you know, kids' reaction or whatever it is. What's going to make them at the end like the video? So that's kind of been how I create the shorts and the reels and stuff like that. I I try to show them certain things that I feel like is going to hook them, and then get them to watch it, and then get them to like it. Because most of the time, it's really not even about the video with me. It's about the caption. Because my goal is to always speak to people and to always give them a message. And the video is just the byproduct of me grabbing your attention.
Mm.
I really just want you to read the caption and learn something from it.
Wow, that's deep. That is deep. I didn't know that. I didn't know that about your content. I wouldn't have. I don't know if that would have been evident to me. I just know that I just want to keep watching it over
Well,
and over again.
the thing is, the I had a conversation with my dad and my family about this a while ago. So most toddlers and stuff like that, or kids, when they're being taught something, it's usually through play. It's usually through a way that they don't know that they're being taught something. But the moment you say, all right, let's learn, they don't want to do it anymore.
Mhm.
So my goal has been to leave somebody a certain message that I feel like would lead to character development, or just lead to them leveling up, or lead to some type of spiritual growth, whatever the case may be. But the moment I say, hey, I'm preaching to you, they don't want to listen anymore.
I
So
see.
it's just by repetition by them. And I get a lot of people that it's the caption for me, it's the caption, it's the caption.
Mhm.
And they're getting it, but the people that's not necessarily don't think they're getting it, they're still getting it,
Wow.
from watching it over and over.
Well, that
That's the
takes
way that I add value.
I love that. That's I'm learning something today. However, what comes to mind is you told me how you got that one idea about the tablecloth, but
Hmm.
where do all these creative ideas come from? Whether it's the visuals, what's filming, or the cat, or what you're trying to say in the caption, where does this come from, and how do you keep your content kind of topped off with all these different ideas?
So I would say I take notes. I have a note in my phone, and whether I come across another video that's giving me an idea, or I'm watching a movie and it sparks something. So when I'm going through these type of things, I say my goal is to spend like 10 minutes a day in complete silence. When I'm doing really good, I spend 10 minutes a day in complete silence. Whether that's in my closet. Remember we talked about that dark closet. I try to find 10 minutes a day with just silence because that kind of refreshes your brain, get you, you know, get the juices going. With the phone, like talked about earlier, if I'm constantly scrolling on my phone, because we really don't do anything without some sort of entertainment nowadays. When you go sit on the toilet, you got your phone. When you wake up in the morning, you brushing your teeth, you might sit your phone to the side and be watching a video. When as soon as you wake up in the morning, when you scroll over, check your notifications. When you eating at the table, if you're not talking to someone, you probably got your phone watching the video. So we've gotten away from having that moment to even like when you're in the shower, right? Silence, just the water, So when you have those moments where it's just calm, it's nothing, then your brain can work. Your brain can come up with ideas. So when I'm in these creative type moments, it's almost like whatever I look at, I can have an idea from it. Like I said, I saw that video and immediately I'm like, hey, I can do this. Or I see somebody, and my goal is never to just copy somebody's video, because obviously it's nothing new under the sun, but we always want to know what will make that video better. What will make that video align with my niche. So spending my thing would be spending time 10 minutes a day meditating, praying, getting your mind to kind of just work, because we're always our attention's always grabbed doing something. So that's where I heard they say where your focus goes, your energy flows in a sense. So it's like something's constantly pulling at you from a certain direction. It's hard for you to be creative, because we've all and this was something that I had to put into work, because there was a season of mine where we weren't creative enough, right? It was hard to come up with ideas, and I'm like, I don't know what it is. I just can't come up with any ideas. And then it's like you kind of gotta defloss your brain, just kind of get the gunk out of the way so that you have a clear mind and you're able to kind of think. So that was one thing I would say helped me, is just getting your 10 minutes of silence to your with your brain is kind of able to work. And I'll pray and I'll spend that time just in my own head. 10 minutes of silence. I'll set a timer, close my eyes. I'm not asleep, but I'm thinking. And anytime during the day, I can wake up in the middle of the night. If I have an idea, I'm going to write it down on a notepad and in my phone. I'm going to write it in my little notebook, and I'll put enough notes and enough, clues so that I can come back to that and be like, oh, okay, and develop it a little bit more. But
Yeah, and we find inspiration from anything. It doesn't have to be something that's in our niche.
hmm
For example, like even seeing, like you said with the tablecloth thing, it was a
hmm
car.
yeah,
So it's like, how do you take something like that and apply it to your niche? And that's something that it takes you a while to
Yeah, to
develop.
practice.
I don't think, a day one, I mean, there's probably someone that can, but it takes a while to develop your brain to like be able to look at a random video, get inspiration from it, and make it your own.
Yeah.
So like I'll send him videos all the time, like, okay, I like this concept, but I want to make it my own,
Mm-hmm.
and just taking a little bit from it, even when it comes to developing, for example, the formula that you were like asking about when he's saying like the hook. If you pay attention to viral videos, if you look at them
It's
and you
always a
study
hook.
them,
Yeah.
it's a hook. It's like writing a book. You got the hook,
Mm-hmm.
the meat, and then the end.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how we formulate our videos. A lot of times when I'm creating my content, the only thing that I care about is the beginning and
And
the
then,
end.
yeah.
And everything else that I get in between, it is what it is. I'm going to try to get that beginning and end how I want it to the T.
Yeah. Because if you hook them, they're not going to go anywhere. They're
No.
going to stay till they're fulfilled and they're satisfied at the end. So,
And for like a new creator starting out, if you don't know how to analyze a viral video, I would say look at the comments.
yeah.
The comments will usually tell you what
Why?
made
Yeah.
it go viral because people cannot resist leaving their thoughts.
And I will also say there's what they call Easter eggs in a video. So sometimes there may be something, and it's been a while where I'll be on point, and I'll say everybody's going to be commenting this about this video, and literally I'll be like, look, they're commenting that. One of them was when we first moved into the house, and the fridge was completely empty and we did a video, a watermelon video, and I put the watermelon in the fridge and closed it, and everybody was commenting, "There ain't no food in that house. The
Yeah,
fridge is empty.
they
They
renting.
must be renting
They
the
must be
home.
eating.
How? What are they
This
eating?
is a content house. And
They
they're like, no, we
just,
just bought the
I
house.
just,
We
we
literally
just
just
moved
moved.
in. So it's like I usually could pinpoint this is what they're gonna be commenting when we watch the video ourselves. That's keeping us in line because you want to know what's going on. You want to
Right.
know what are people, what is the message they're going to get, what are they going to gravitate to, and it helps you create more content. I think that's even more important than analyzing other people's videos is analyzing your own. So you can then say, okay, this is what people want from me because everybody else's video, no matter how many things you recreate, if that's not what they want from you, then it's not going to do well. So once you realize, hey, this is something that people want me to, produce, then the 500 views turns into 5,000, turns into a million, and it just continues, you
It's
know.
so important. It's so important to analyze your own content and go back and
Hmm.
figure out what can you improve. And one young man that I work with says, if I can just make a 1% improvement on in every video, just 1%, where are
Just
you
one.
going to be 6 months from now?
Yeah.
1% improvement. Knowing, I've seen creators. I think I did a Instagram post on it. It's like, look, if your views and your audience has not grown at all, and you're making video after video after video, you've made 150 videos, you're doing something wrong.
Right.
Stop, look, analyze, try to figure it out. Are they not clicking? Are they clicking but they're not watching? Are they watching
Hmm.
but they only watch for a little bit? What are you doing when they stop watching? Don't do that no more. So it's just really important to be able to know how to not only look at. I love what Brittany said about going into the comments
Hmm.
of a viral video, looking to see what do these videos have in common,
Right.
and how can I implement some of the strategies that they're using. It's very,
Yeah.
very important. And so we talked about creativity, and these two things kind of go hand in hand. And I have to ask this for the audience because everybody wants to know, How do you manage to stay consistent?
Hmm. Um, that I would say that's like discipline, you know, it's discipline. I would say, what the real advice though I would give someone that's starting out. I have people that's like I help, create content, friends and stuff like that. And I always tell them to batch record. So if you have that content day, like plan it out and say, hey, I'm gonna record 5 videos. Don't negotiate with yourself. Record them 5 videos. I like to tell people all you gotta do is when we was doing that, man, me and my brother would get in the car. I have change of outfits, and I got the cameras, the batteries, and I head out. And I'm recording a video, I'm changing clothes, record another video, changing clothes, and I'm knocking all that out in one day. Because, like I said, we come home, we help her. She's like, well, today's my content day, so the focus is on Brittany today. So, whatever she needs to get done, whether it's us making sure the kids not bugging her, or us holding the camera, or if it's all, my
Mhm.
brain is borrowed by her, helping her brainstorm and come up with captions or, how to make something, better. So it's like have that content day and make sure you don't negotiate with yourself. You say, hey, this is what I said I was going to do. Because it's easy after you get 2 videos done to be like, all right, I'm good. And the key is if you don't have nothing to do next day or day after that, do it again because that's how you get ahead of the curveball. You don't want to get wrapped up into I'm creating a video today and it goes live tomorrow. I'm creating a video tomorrow and it goes live the day after that. Then you never really get ahead. So if you can create 2 in a day and then maybe 1 and 2 in a day, you want to always try to figure out how can you get ahead of the ball because then it's easy to stay consistent. And this was something um, we were doing when we were like, you know what, we want to grow on Instagram. We start putting focus in that. I was posting every day for a long time, but I got at one point I was like 3 weeks ahead, because I just kept going creating videos. And then you got a time period where you can say, all right, I'm gonna chill out today, tomorrow, and then I'm gonna get back on it on Friday or Saturday or something. So
Mhm.
the plan, the key is to get ahead.
Yes. And I love that batch filming because depending on what kind of content you do, you ain't setting up the lights, setting up the camera, doing all the
Yeah.
things, getting dressed, making sure your hair is right, your face is right. That doing that day after day after day is exhausting. It is
Hmm.
Yeah.
exhausting. And if you can get it all, be in that mindset for several hours,
Hmm.
may work out a little bit better. But the problem is a lot of creators that I talk to, they don't have it's like, well, they wake up, they go, well, what am I going to create? So that's why I said
Hmm.
consistency and creativity go hand in hand. Having
That's
your
true.
plan, having your little notebook, having your ideas written down, whether or not you put them in a calendar. Look, I know you can't wake up one day and go, okay, what am I going to film today?
Right.
Much one video, much less five.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I would say send yourself the videos, whether it's on TikTok, Instagram, and
Hmm.
leave yourself a little note when you send it to yourself.
Yeah.
Do this, doing this,
Yeah.
do this with such and such. So that way when it comes to those batch days, you have little notes so you don't have to spend that time. There's days that we'll spend a day prior to batch day preparing for the videos. If
Mhm,
that means we need to get outfits together, we get the outfits together beforehand because then
mhm,
that makes it way more efficient when it comes time to record.
mhm.
Just flow. Things
That's
will
good.
just flow.
That's good. Y'all have it down. I mean, in order to produce
We.
like you do, you have to have it down. You can't be just going about things willy nilly. You have to have a plan. You have to have discipline. This is what I'm hearing. You have to have a teamwork. If it's a couple, a
Hmm.
plan. You need to have discipline.
Hmm.
You need to do things sometimes when you don't feel like doing things,
Yeah.
and basically just show up for yourself and make sure that you understand that if you don't do this, you may not reach your goals, the goals that you have
Yeah,
set for yourself.
no,
Mhm.
that's for sure. Yeah,
So,
but it can be
About
done.
being intentional and proactive.
Yeah,
what was that?
it can be done.
Say that again.
About being intentional and proactive.
Hmm.
Yes, I love this. I love this, you guys. So one last question, and I want to know, and you've kind of talked about this a little bit, but what are your long-term goals or aspirations as content creators? And do you have a plan to get there?
Um, yes. So long-term goals is essentially to keep growing our audience and
Hmm.
always adding value to them in all of our content. And value doesn't always have to be an educational component. It could be just purely entertainment. Um,
Making somebody laugh.
Making somebody
Yeah.
laugh. That
That's right.
does joy for people. I love to laugh. Um, and build something that can withstand the test of time, essentially. Like, because with the way social media is, you never know kind of where it's going to go, even with this talk of the TikTok
TikTok.
ban and
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. So we're still developing our plans of, solidifying Gym O'Clock even further down the line and developing more businesses and ways to come about doing that.
Capturing emails.
Capturing emails,
Coming out with an app. Yeah.
apps,
Writing
books.
writing books. Yeah.
We have a lot that's on our list that we're working to accomplish, and right now it's just a means of like finding the right people to help us develop that. Because as you've heard, it's a lot of teamwork here and there, and adding in his brother who is our assistant, we don't have much help outside of that. I think we just recently got an editor
Mm-hmm.
for our YouTube family channel, but
Mm.
outside of that, we still edit
Doing
all of
all
our
our own
own
stuff.
personal content ourselves.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we're still working on developing the team and getting the resources to help make these long term goals a reality.
Yeah.
Well,
Because it's all about timing. I think the right timing when you're supposed to do some things, you can miss it, and then also you can be too early. So at the right time, when it's time to launch, the next business or finish writing a book and things like that. So, we want to just continue to add value and make a living while doing it.
well, I have no doubt that you guys are going to reach your goals and beyond. Um, we've talked about your line. I'm going to definitely leave all of your information in the description where people can follow you and go to your website. But go ahead and plug your things that you're working on. Tell people about it.
Yeah, I've been writing a book for a while, so I'll be up first. We plan on writing a three-part series. I'm gonna write a book. She's gonna write a book. Then we're gonna co-author a book together. And it'll basically be, you know, my story, her story, and then how we came together because it wasn't always this smooth, you know. We had some, the growth pains and things that some couples give up on. So we want to go ahead and put that story out. Like I said.